if you want to, I talked about Professor Pepin was the one that introduced us.
Yes.
And how you started taking interns after I had graduated.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was convenient.
Right after you graduated too.
And it all happened because for my capstone, I was trying to do my project on pelvic floor and how that correlated with athletes. And at the time, there was literally no research. The only thing I could find was on incontinence for older women. And that was 3 years ago. So there's a lot more information now. But my professor was like, oh, I know you're interested in kind of this pre and postnatal strength conditioning. And that's how we got introduced.
Yes. Because how old was your daughter at that point? That would have been 2 years ago.
So your son and my daughter are the same age.
The same age.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. So Nate just turned 3. So we're right in that together.
Yes. Yes.
Lord knows we need a community to survive this, hence Fish Mama. But yeah. Okay. So cool. So yes, we met through your advisor at Rhode Island College, and intro to Shewulf community, the Wolf Pack, and Mission Mama community. Hopefully y'all are jumping in and watching as well. So my name is Lexie Zanuski. I am a certified pre and postnatal coach and certified strength and conditioning specialist. I did my bachelor's and my master's in strength and conditioning at University of Connecticut, and spent almost a decade in college athletics before transitioning to work with pre and postnatal communities after having my daughter, who's going to be 6 in like 2 weeks, which is kind of wild. Yeah. But yeah, so that was like my career path. But I don't know about you, Krys, but my first experience with strength and conditioning was way, way earlier. Like I started resistance training at Mike Boyle's Strength and Conditioning.
Oh, really?
When they were still in Winchester. Yeah. I was 11. From 11 on, I was a huge gym rat, and I was just a strength and conditioning junkie. So that was like where I was first exposed to this.
Yeah. So I was telling them that our paths were very different because I went to art school first and I didn't play sport. I mean, I played softball in middle school, but I didn't play sports. And I was saying how like usually it's like you played sports, you had a strength and conditioning coach, which then you went for exercise science, and then you were a strength and conditioning coach, and like you did the collegiate route, and I didn't do that at all.
Yeah.
So we're a little different, but then we came back together.
Yeah. Which I think is cool though, because we'll be able to give like a very different perspective here for like viewers and everything like that. So I'm excited for that piece. And then I guess like, what do you feel like is unique about like your coaching style? Because that was kind of why we wanted to do this. Was I don't know if a lot of people who are not like in the field of strength and conditioning or fitness and wellness realize this, but it's actually quite difficult. I find it quite difficult to find coaches that I really align with, and I feel like are practicing the way I want to see more practitioners practicing. And so that was originally why I like reached out to you, because I was like, I feel like I watch so much of your stuff, and I'm like, yes, finally someone who gets it.
Yes, I've always kind of been an oddball. Like I just didn't quite fit into any like particular coaching or like fitness or anything like that. And I was thinking about your questions a lot, and I think it all started with I had to go to physical therapy for my hip, and just like the gap between what you learn in the gym, what you do in the gym, and what if you're not part of the gym environment, you have no clue. Like there's such a large gap between like I go to the gym and I don't go to the gym, and your overall health and fitness shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just find myself really like pulled away from the all or nothing mentality that gets strapped onto fitness and wellness. It drives me kind of crazy because I think that's why we send so many people continuing to like spiral and run on this hamster wheel of like, I'm on, I'm off, I'm in, I'm out, I'm up, I'm down.
Right.
And it's just truly more detrimental in the long run to our health, to our wellness, because of all the things it brings up. There's so much like, I was doing so good and now I am failing.
Right.
Versus just the consistency of I'm showing up the best that I can when I can and not pressuring myself to do more or less than I can give in each moment, each day.
Yeah.
I
I
think if
think too.
people,
Oh no, go ahead.
no, I was
Sorry.
just gonna say, I think if people had more of a like balanced approach, there would be so much less frustration and so much more joy with being physically active.
Oh, 100%. And I think, and guys, feel free to ask any questions while we're just like yapping
Yes,
over
please.
here. Please interject. I think it's all or nothing mentality. It starts so young, like in school, like I don't ever remember just like, I mean, yeah, we had to go to PE class, but it was like half the year and like, I don't know, 45 minutes or something. It was like we added fitness into our life instead of it just being incorporated. Like we're trying to add this huge, overwhelming task when it's like, all right, well, maybe we just like added a walk in or like, especially being a mom, it's like, okay, I have 15 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna just like get in the gym real quick and do like some lifts and be done, and that's gonna count. And I think society has just told us nothing is good enough, so then we don't do anything at all instead of
Yeah.
every little 1% adds up. And that's really what I try to preach to my clients is that that 1% that you choose to be better, it adds up to make huge impacts in our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the cumulative effect. It's not the one individual scenario.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Do you have any like words or phrases or anything that really stand out to you or that help like describe or define you as a coach?
I really try to push performance and strength and muscle growth for fat loss. While I think anyone's goals are true to you, and if that's your goal, like okay, I'm going to support you in any way I can.
Yep.
However, I would like you to have the education for maybe why you're choosing this goal and what it's actually going to take to get to that goal and whether it's worth it for you or not. And I always add some sort of performance goal, whether that's they want to be able to do a pull up or they want to get, I don't know, they want to add to their deadlift. They always have some sort of performance goal because I think we focus so hard on aesthetics when aesthetics take so long to see that if we're focusing on performance, the aesthetics kind of come with it.
Yeah.
Like you just got to give it enough time, and you'll start to see it. So for me, it's really strength, performance, and the education behind it. What is science actually telling us?
Exactly. Yeah. So I recently started referring to myself as a habit and performance coach.
Yeah.
Because I think it really does come down to the day-to-day habits, being mindful enough to be aware of what these things are bringing into our life versus all the things we're trying to take away from ourselves. Especially as moms, I think we have enough taken away from ourselves that we don't need to go do it anymore.
Right. Right. 100%.
And yeah, the performance. How are we performing in day-to-day life? Like, can I carry my child around without pain?
Right.
Can I walk upstairs without feeling winded?
Right.
Can I get up and down off of the floor without creaks and cracks and aches and, you know, all these things? And so,
right.
yeah, I'm always trying to bring that to the forefront, meet people where they are. And then also, yeah, we're all going to have our individual goals, and that's great and important, but understanding what it will take to actually achieve said goals, and then making the best informed decision of if that should stay a goal or if that
Right.
can be a goal of ours too, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
I think too, I try what you were saying before about the all or nothing is I try to explain to my clients in particular that where life is comes in seasons. Like literally the earth is in seasons. Like we're supposed to go through different phases, and especially like we have some moms on here, but for those who aren't moms, like whether it's motherhood or whether it's like a stressful time during work, sometimes like your training is going to take up a back seat, and that is okay. Like I only got a walk in. No, you got a walk in. Like that still counts. And I think we can be super hard on ourselves, but understanding like in this season, I cannot dedicate my time to this, and that's okay because that leaves space to be able to dedicate it to later on. So like if you're in the newborn stage and you are like, oh, I feel like I'm running on fumes, there's no way I could also go and do my exercises, whatever the case may be. It's like, okay, so rest now so that in future seasons you've recovered to a point where you can add that in.
Yeah.
And I think just understanding that there are going to be seasons where you can dedicate to your fitness 100%, and then there's going to be seasons where you can't, and that's perfectly okay. You're not going to lose all your progress.
Well, and also like that fitness and your goals and your showing up for yourself can look different, and still be effective or still be beneficial in some way, right? I think that's what we like lose track of, right? Because you said it earlier, like, oh, I only went for a walk. Like walking's great for us. Being out and outside, taking in nature and everything around us, it's good for us in a lot of different ways. And we shouldn't be like ashamed of the fact that we chose to show up that day versus not, right? Like you still made a choice to move. That was still a good thing.
That was
for
still
you.
your 1% for the day. Like that
your
still counts.
Your 1% is good enough for you that day. So yeah, I really like, again, this is where I feel like we align very, very well. So I'm sitting here trying to think of, and I think one of the questions I'd like to ask.
I wrote them down.
We can be a little bold
I was not
here.
Remember them.
If we could be a little bold here, is like, what is one thing that either you really are not loving in the fitness industry right now, or that you hope to see change within our industry?
So I thought a lot about this one particular question because there are so many things that drive me absolutely insane. And I was like, okay, just pick one. And I think what always just gets me like enthralled is the 6-week this, the 5-week this, the whatever to a 6-pack abs. That shit drives me absolutely nuts because what it's saying is, well, whatever you have been doing, clearly it didn't work. Okay, I have the secret and you can do it in 5 weeks. Like maybe you've been struggling with this your whole life, and like this person is just like, first of all, blatantly lying to you. Let's get that straight. And second of all, telling you that all your effort or whatever was like useless, and that only this person, if you pay, is gonna be able to fix all your problems. And then my other thing was it gives the illusion that fitness is in 6-week increments and not a lifelong thing. And that's what absolutely drives me insane. One of the many.
Right, exactly. Which, and you know what's funny is, and bear with me in the initial shock of what I'm about to say, but I'm pretty sure both of us just launched 6-week somethings, right?
Yes.
Now the thing is, And
The
the difference
context
I'm
is
going to
different.
point out for this is typically they're Kickstarter programs.
Right.
It's a small commitment. It's let's get you going.
Right.
We also know that in periodization, we're typically looking for a 4 to 8 week stretch of initial strength progression to be able to go through different lifting patterns, movement patterns, get the nervous system used to doing this, help people to get a really good point in their recovery, and also set the foundation for some consistency and routine and get those habits built.
Yeah.
So 6 weeks can be a great place for like a little taste, a little starter, and also proving to yourself that like you can do this. And then we're talking about and beyond. Right. So it's not just a like, give me 6 weeks and I'm going to change your life and then we'll stop.
Right.
It's give me 6 weeks to prove to yourself that you can do this.
Right.
And then let's talk about the next step.
Yeah.
So where it differs is the guaranteed results, which is what you were saying before. And that is also one of my biggest pet peeves, whatever you it's a disgrace. It is. It's so unfortunate. It sets unrealistic expectations for everybody involved. And we completely take out of the mix the fact that we are human beings, that our bodies function in with a nervous system, a hormonal system, a circadian rhythm, all of these things. And we're just like, nope, every single person's response is going to be exactly the same and you will achieve the exact same thing.
Right.
But all of you following this one plan.
Correct.
And I mean,
so Lauren, oh no, go ahead.
Basic physiology tells us that is not possible.
Right. And Lauren made a good point. Neither of our 6 week, like mine's a beginner to weightlifting course. Neither one of our 6 week programs promises anything physique wise. Like they're all about some sort of building habit, some sort of intro to something. Nothing promises physique because we can't promise physique anything.
That. We have no idea
if I
how
saw
one person's body will respond to one stimulus or another.
100%. Even if I saw you for 6 weeks, I can't promise you anything.
No, absolutely not. And even the science too, like this is what drives me crazy sometimes as well, is like we get so rigid with what the science says and what the textbooks say. And like, I know some people are probably, there's some physiologists out there that's like, how dare you, right?
How dare you?
Dr. Kramer's probably going to be like, texting me, what are you saying? But I think being a good practitioner is that it's like the difference between textbook knowledge and real life application 100%. Is that we understand that like, yes, in a perfectly controlled setting where we are controlling your nutrition and your sleep and your this and your that. I mean, to do research studies, to get things published in these textbooks, you have to have, I mean, man, it's like they are checking everything, right?
Yes.
So to say that when we put you out in the real world, when we like release you to the jungle, that is
wild.
The same response is just not true, and it's not something that can be promised. So yeah,
that one's up there for sure. I think too, like, not too deep to my own horn, but I think that's why coming from a non-traditional background actually has kind of been a superpower, because I didn't get that drilled into me through like school is like XPhys was my least favorite class, first of all. And it was because it was mathematical equations for the human body, which makes no sense to
Amen.
me.
Amen.
So I was like, and like I think just like with everyday people and realizing like, you know, whatever, Sally has been up all night with her kid, or Bailey, for example, just worked 36 hours this week. It's like that's not in the textbook, first of all. And like each person's stress response is going to be different. Like maybe that person's used to working 36 hours. Okay, so like they're good. They could come to a session and recover fine. Like their body's used to it. Maybe they're younger. Like there's such a huge fluctuation between premenopausal and perimenopause and postmenopausal, and it's like people all respond differently. Like depending on what stage you're in your life, depending on what you freaking ate the day before. Like all this stuff goes into it, and yeah, the textbook don't say that.
No, they don't. We got a question here. Okay, I'd love to hear your opinions on the fact that for women, it seems that body types are trends.
Yeah.
And they cycle in and out. How has that impacted the fitness industry?
So this is my best friend. We've been friends since elementary school, and so we grew up with the cocaine chic body image. So like hip bones and low-rise jeans and crop tops.
Yep.
And so I know for me personally, that's not my body type. And it was very hard growing up with that as the image. And it wasn't until I got into a gym setting where it was like, oh, you have big thighs, that's cool, that must mean you're really strong. And I was like, oh, that's different. That's different than what I've ever heard ever before in my whole life. Cool.
Yeah. It's coming back and I'm scared, y'all. Yeah, no, 100%.
Only
yeah, I think
let it.
Yeah. So, you know what's interesting is I think for where we are right now, like how does it impact the fitness industry? Well, I mean, it definitely plays a role. I think one thing that stands out to me is the one, we're promoting dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
We are 100% promoting dysfunction the more we allow ourselves to remain silent and accepting of these trends. And so I think that's where it's really important for coaches, especially female coaches, to start using our voices, especially female coaches who, I mean, if you compare me to what a fit person should look like, I'm not going to fit the mold. And it took me a long time to be okay with that and just acknowledge the things that this body of mine can do. So I think the more we have people who look all different ways and different sizes and have different levels of strength and experience coming in and talking about, you know, what fitness and health actually feels like, actually looks like, is one big piece to actually changing the trend and stopping the dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're saying dysfunction, the two things that come to mind for me are body image issues or eating disorders, as well as probably the biggest issue, in my opinion, is bone loss for females.
Yeah.
Osteopenia, osteoporosis, hip fractures, all of these things.
Yeah.
I mean, the way we stimulate bone is by loading it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So okay, I'm not gonna go on that tangent yet. But to go back to the trend, I think you can see it like with the booty trend, for a while. And like big butts are still in, I would say. I mean, for me they are. But
I just put that on my goal sheet.
Yeah, it's always on the goal sheet. But like I would say like when CrossFit was really popular, the CrossFit body was like in style and people wanted to do CrossFit because they thought if they did it, they would get, you know, the washboard abs. And then we had, you know, Brett Contreras doing the Lord's work with his booty girls over there, you know, promoting big butts and really small waists. And it's like, yeah, some people are built like that. That's cool. But like, can we train the rest of our body too?
Yeah.
Like there's more body parts. So I think, yes, the society and what we see in celebrities does come into our realm quite often.
Absolutely. I would also I would also say the frustrating part when other people, especially like very popular in the media, actresses,
Oh God.
celebrities, things like
Uh-huh.
that, come in, is one of the biggest things is, one, what does their lifestyle look
Yeah.
like, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I've heard interviews where people are like, and I'm very blessed to have like a
Mhm.
nanny and a this and a
And a
that and
chef
all
and
of
a
this
personal
support, right?
trainer
So like
and a
comparing
maid.
our situation to that situation, even if it's a celebrity mom, our lives look completely different. Our availability, right? Our time,
Right.
our energy and recovery look completely different, number one.
100%.
And then number two, the thing none of us like to talk about, genetics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I can't change what you're composed of.
No.
That is
Yeah.
served to me, and it's my job to figure out how to work with it.
Right.
But I
Right.
can't change it.
Correct. Yeah. And I think, you know, it goes back to like, if we're talking about trends, for example, like I'll go back to the CrossFit thing because that's when I got into fitness, is when CrossFit was like in its height, which I think they're going to go out of business. But anyway, um, they're athletes. So like
Yes.
just like a celebrity, right? They have meal companies that sponsor them, that send them free food. They work out 2 times a day. They have someone that is doing their macros and telling them what to eat. They have strict rules on like how much conditioning they do and what their percentages look like. Like, yeah, their bodies look that way because that's their job. That is all
That is
they
their
do.
job.
That is their
Exactly.
job. And so if you're a desk jockey all day long, I'm sorry, you're not going to look like them. And regardless, even if you worked out like them and had all of the same privileges they had, you still wouldn't look like them, because now we're going back to biology. Now we're going back to genetically, you're different than them. And that's okay. Like,
Yep.
we're all different. That's just the way it is.
Can we also point out the fact that CrossFit athletes are not only doing CrossFit as workouts?
Yeah. They go
We
through
like point that out
phases.
too, right? Because like
Yeah.
so many people, they're like, oh yeah, I used to do CrossFit all day, every day. Then I got hurt and I was in P. I'm like, yeah, no shit, you got hurt. Like,
Yeah, because you've
all you were
never
doing
trained.
were these WODs, right? Like,
Yeah.
athletes, they're doing the CrossFit training, the CrossFit workouts, because those are their that's their competition, right?
Right.
Like that's game day.
Yes, and peace.
But yeah, PEDs. That's a whole other topic. But yeah, like their strength training, their endurance training, they're doing all of these different types of training as well. It's not just one thing.
Right.
So, um, anyways, you want to check your list and see if there's anything else
Oh
we're
yeah.
not
Oh
touching
gosh.
on. We've definitely covered a lot.
I don't think you shared on what you would say makes you different, or how your approach to coaching is different than what you've seen.
Okay, yeah. Like I said before, I think I am very habit and performance based, and I think one of the biggest things for me that is different, and it took me a while to get here, is that I don't do any nutrition advising or
Mhm.
counseling or
Mhm.
prescribing or anything like that. Um, I don't think it's a bad thing for coaches who do assist with that. It just never felt compatible for me. And it actually led to a lot more frustration when I wasn't able to help people achieve like those specific body modification goals. Um, and I think one of the reasons I wasn't able to do it is because I didn't sit and harp on it. I wasn't constantly checking in on them with their food. When I found that people were really focusing on that the most, it led to a lot more frustration and a lot more dropout in
Mhm.
their journeys. And I finally just had like a come to Jesus moment with myself where I was just like, I'm not meant to focus on this. I'm meant to help people perform better and adjust the things that are going to help them feel better and more supported. So I focused on like building up my support community of dietitians and, people who work with nutrition. And I hand that off to them. And I just clean my hands of it. What I do is I started offering I call it the no BS approach to health and wellness, where we actually talk about how much stress diets put on the body, and then we're left to kind of overcome the stress of the diet plus the goals we want to achieve, plus all of this additional dysfunction, to try to like pull back the curtain on diet culture and what we're actually doing to our bodies. So I think that's one thing that makes me really different. And that's also one thing that I know makes me not the person for a lot of people. But the people who do come to me, I think come because I'm really focused on how the workouts are making them feel, feeling at home in the body that they're in right now, as opposed to the body they want to be in the future. Because I think if we're focusing too far in the future, we'll never be satisfied in the moment. And therefore, we're much more likely to stop, to get frustrated, to not acknowledge all of the good things that have changed during the experience so far. So really meeting people where they are in that very moment, helping them to feel more at home in their body, and also giving credit to all the amazing things and all the incredible hard work that they're doing right now, in order to better their life in the future, but not only be focused on who they'll be in the future, what they'll look like in the future.
Yeah. I contemplated for a while, and it's hard because like most people come to you in the general population, they just want to lose weight. And so I contemplated for a while not being a weight loss coach. Like I don't do that. And it's hard because I think they come to you thinking they want to lose weight, but one of the questions, and another coach like asked this, and I took it, but it was, if you weighed exactly the same, but you looked like how you wanted to look, would you be okay with it? Or if you were the weight you want to be, but looked exactly the same you do right now, would you be okay with it? And just kind of changing their mindset. I mean, the scale is always like this daunting thing. It's just a data point, and like for some people, it can be just a data point, and for some people, it's like their end all be all. And like, I contemplated for a very long time not being a weight loss coach.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to, and I don't think there's any right or wrong, right? These people have to exist in this world, and they're doing their work in the best way that matches up for them. And some people are going to love that, and that's great. And that means that they've found the coach for them. But that's just not something that aligned with my values, right? And so I think this is kind of a point. Another thing that like frustrates me is coaches who think they can do it all and address it all. And like for a while when I was transitioning into working with moms, I was like, oh, but I could also work with that point, and I could also work with that person. I could also work with her and him and all this stuff. And then I was just like, finally, I was like, you need to decide who you want to support, and all your energy needs to go into that. It's a big change. It's a big transition.
I think too, like, I don't know if you've experienced this, but so I thought I wanted to do what you do. And I was like, no, that's not it. I thought I wanted to work with kids. That's not it. And so like I've had like all of these like the same thing, like, oh, I could work with this population. Well, I could work with this population. Then I tried it, and like I'm like, no, I have a niche that I'm comfortable with, and whether that, I don't know if that's like stroking my own ego or whatever, but like this is the niche I'm comfortable with, that I feel like I get the most reach with, and this is what I'm staying with. Not that I don't coach moms, like I have plenty of moms. And do we do pre and postnatal? Yeah, sometimes, but that's not my niche, and that's perfectly fine, because like there are coaches like you, or athlete strength and conditioning coaches that can do it so much better.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna hold this gauntlet that like I don't feel comfortable with.
So what would you call your niche?
That's a good question. Usually the women I help, um, they're newer to the gym, I would say, and they're not, they're probably, I would say, upper 20s to like 50s and 60s. And usually they want to get strong as fuck. And like that's it. That's where I'm like, yes, let's go. Like they get excited when they hit new PRs, and like they want to learn new things, and they're interested in the gym, and like that stuff ignites me. That is like what I love to coach. I'm so mean, but like I hate the wah baby. I can't do this. Like, it's too heavy. That really just like irks me. And like you find that with first of all, males. So I don't coach males very often because they're whiny little babies, and I don't have time for that. And sometimes like not that I don't like coaching the younger girls, because I feel like they really need it. I just don't personally feel like I connect well with them.
Yeah.
So that's where I get kind of like, I don't know.
No, I hear you. That was one of the biggest reasons I got out of college athletics. I was just like, I can't relate to the problems you are having right now.
Yeah,
like,
I'm so
you
sorry.
stayed up until 2 a.m. by choice.
Yeah.
I was up with sore nipples and a feeding, screaming baby.
Yeah.
And I'm still here for your
We're
6
not the same.
right?
We're not the same. Yeah.
Choice, no choice.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's a very valid reason, and why we put a lot of time into thinking about like what our ideal clients are, what our ideal members are, because also I'm going to be able to bring the best experience to you if I'm as excited as possible to be working with you and to be supporting you, right? So like that's a big piece that goes into it, and that's a big piece why we do consultations and we do private tours and meet and greets and stuff like that, because I want to make sure that you're a good fit for me and I'm a good fit for you.
Right.
It's not a one size fits all type of structure here. My niche is definitely pre and postnatal, all the way from trying to conceive to years post child. That being said, I think my favorite population to work with is early postpartum. I love the opportunity to like take a super stressed out, overwhelmed mom and welcome her into this beautiful, supportive community with her little one. I love watching the kiddos grow up in this, gym and be a part of that. And I love moms realizing like, oh shit, I can get out of the house. I can be strong as shit. I can lift heavy things. I can be proud of this body and all that it's done, and not choose to live small because I'm overwhelmed, but actually like step into this power and be super fierce, super strong, super supported. And like, I love every moment of that. It's amazing.
Yeah. So there's like this special moment you get to see when like they pick up something they never thought they could pick up before, or like recently I've been coaching a group of teachers, and I secretly put them in a trap bar and was like, okay, pick it up or whatever. And then when they find out that it weighed 65 pounds, and they're like, oh my God, I lifted that. And I was like, you guys are shorting yourself. Like, you're so much stronger than you think you are. And like, it's cool. That's one of my favorite things. Another favorite part is like watching their confidence like just grow in all aspects of their lives. And like, you can just see it. Like it starts in the gym here and there, little things. And then like, boom, they're doing stuff outside of, they're asking for promotions and they're taking their kid on this crazy hike. And they're like, oh, we did this awesome thing. And I was like, hell yeah, you did. And it's like,
yeah, you did.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, this is what it's about. Like, this is why.
Absolutely.
You know, when someone comes to me and is like, oh, you won't believe I hit this new PR. And I'm like, yeah, you did.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's open it up for any questions while we wrap on one final question that I have for you, and then I can share mine as well. But what has been your most recent proudest moment as a coach?
Goodness. Okay, so most recently I had 2 of my small group members, and one was having a rough day. She was just like kind of down on herself. And then the other one, I don't know if she knew she was having a rough day or how the conversation started, but she looked at her and she was like, you inspire me. Every time I'm here with you, you are, you know, you're always like adding weights and you're so strong, and like you're inspiring me just being here, showing up for yourself even when you aren't feeling like you know, maybe you're not at your best. You're still inspiring me to push it and be stronger. And in that moment I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna start to cry, because it's just like, it's exactly why I started this. It was like, I wanted women to come together and be strong together and not compete with each other. And I literally visually got to witness it. And it was one of the coolest moments I've ever seen.
Yes. I love that. When the room ignites and you have to do nothing but observe, it's like the most beautiful fucking thing in the world to watch, right? It truly is. Cool. Yeah. So I recently, maybe like 3 weeks ago, we were finishing up a phase and entering into a new one. And I decided to push it off for a week so that we could do testing. And so we had like a full on test week. We did deadlift, bench press, a couple people did cleans. So we're going through this test week, and I have a member who is really, really hard on herself. She like always expects more and the best, right? Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of conversations about that. But she's just like a badass. She shows up, she works hard, she does her thing, and she's great. And she, a few years ago, faced like a really hard medical condition. Went through a lot of treatments, things like that. And it completely like just took a lot of her away from her. And she has a really hard time with how it still impacts her, and being able to show up and like we were talking about earlier, be okay with 1% being her 100% on that day, or 200% being her 100% that day, right? And so she shows up for test week, and she's like, you know, I know that I may never be able to deadlift 200 pounds again. Like, that's okay. That's just like, that was the old version of me. And this is the new version of me. And I'm just going to have to be okay with like whatever this version can do. And I was like, I don't, you don't even know what this version can do. I was like, you don't know yet. Comparing you to one version of yourself. And she's like, yeah, I guess so, whatever. And she verbatim out of her mouth was like, I'll never be able to deadlift 200 pounds. You know, she fucking deadlifted 200 pounds that day. Yeah. I was like, yeah,
she did.
You know what weights on the bar right now? She was like, no. I was like, 200 fucking pounds. Yes. And she was like, shut up. So we got videos of it and everything, and like, I was so proud of her. But it really is. Yeah, those moments where you're setting some kind of comparison trap for yourself, and you're just like, oh, you don't even know what the fuck you're capable of. Yeah. Please, like, just give yourself a moment.
Yeah. So 100%. Very cool.
Awesome. This was fun. We definitely went in a lot more directions than I thought we would.
Yeah. ADD showing.
Yeah, right. But I'm excited for this. We're gonna work out a schedule for everybody who's watching and showed up today. Thank you so much. Thank you for questions.
Yeah.
We meet the coaches, and then officially kick off some structured talks in June. So if anybody from either of our communities has some, lingering questions or thoughts that they want answered, myths that they want debunked within the fitness industry, focus on different topics, anything like that, please feel free to drop them into our inboxes or on our feeds so that we can take note of those. And we'd love to start talking about all these topics and helping you have a better informed experience with your health and wellness journey.
Yeah, 100%. And I think both of us are pretty open. If we don't know the answer, we'll find it for you.
Yeah.
So please, I'm basically an open book. People can ask me anything. So like, go ahead, ask away, whatever's on your mind.
Yep. I think that's part of being a good and trustworthy coach is, we're willing to share, and we're also willing to admit when maybe we don't know the full answer and go find the information for you. So yes, please share and please ask, and we will be happy to support you the best way we can. Cool.
All right. Sweet.
Thanks so much,
Thank
Krys.
you all. All right. Let's see if I can
All right. Have a great
this.
day, everybody.
Bye.